That's fine. We are up and live. It is recording voices right now.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. Alas, we will be actually live with camera in 4 minutes. Go get my stuff and set it up. Oh, my leg. Where is it? Kindle. Not Fear of Furries. I will eventually read you.
The rest of Fear and Furries?
Yes, the rest of Fearful Furries.
It's very important to watch the rest of the furries. Your wine, my dear.
Thank you for the wine. My love.
Yeah.
It has a very grapey aroma. I like grapey, but not overly grapey, you know?
Go for the eye, man.
That's right, go for the eye man. I like that movie, but I'm corny, so, you know. That's really loud. Sorry, we were having some technical
Slight
difficulties. Technical difficulties right now with the Kindle. Where's your wine glass?
Oh, I gotta go get one. Hold on.
I mean, after all, you're going to be here reading with me.
Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, it's downloaded. I'll be right back. Let me go get my wine glass.
As soon as you come back, we will get started.
Giggling ducklings.
Chapter 1. Giggling ducklings.
Which is pretty much what I'm gonna be the entire time. Where is the other wine glass? I know we had 2.
We did? I'm not quite sure.
Well, I don't know where the other one went. I guess I will just have to deal with my Leah cup instead. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Do I need to move somewhere? Are we okay here?
I think so.
Do I need to angle this differently? Let's find out.
Maybe.
Audience. There you are, audience. Angle this
Hi.
a little bit.
Apparently today we are for the Horde.
Are we?
Yeah, you've got your Horde sweater on.
Oh no.
And I have the Sylvanas jacket on.
I'm such a dirty horde. I went there.
You did.
Welcome.
We used to play WoW.
Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. We are doing our first chapter reading every other weekend. We like to settle down, relax, and do some first chapter readings with some indie authors that she knows. Can you turn the volume down on that? Because I can hear myself, and that's throwing me off.
Okay.
I don't know why I could hear that, but that was throwing me off. There we go. Thank you.
Ow.
All right, so sit back, relax, pour yourself some wine. I have no idea if I'm drinking that right or wrong, but hey, I'm okay with that.
It's also
I'm
not
okay
wine.
with that. It's not wine. It is tea. I don't do wine.
We don't own wine.
Sorry.
Do we? We do own wine.
We do. We have a bottle.
Let's go get it and set it up.
Yeah.
Pretend we have wine.
We have a bottle. It sits there in the pantry, unopened.
Oh no, where is it?
It's in the back corner behind the... Oh gosh. No, it's up top behind the box of dishwasher pads. Or pods. Welcome to the stream. We're going to do first chapter reading of this book right here. And let me angle myself correctly so my finger's not off screen. This book right here, it is called A Trashy Medieval Romance.
We have wine.
By Cinnamon Carnelian.
We don't.
You can check it out.
Wine,
we will drop the link. In chat.
there. Oh.
Are you ready?
No.
Sheesh, we had 25 minutes before the stream.
What's wrong with the 6-year-old?
Well, whose fault is that? The 6-year-old's probably, because she is unruly. And yeah, she is going to make a feisty woman someday.
Oh, heck yeah.
Aw. I know it's Mother's Day, but how about that?
There we go.
Gives it that
We are now
je ne sais quoi.
prepared, hopefully.
All right, so here we go.
Let's try this.
Let me angle this on the other side then, so
Yes.
that way we can see the flower in my hair.
And the random bottle of wine that we own.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. I'm going to be throwing some romance your way. Chapter 1, Giggling Duckling.
I don't read romance for a reason.
Stone Star Castle bustled with excitement, anticipating the arrival of the ambassadors and noblemen from the Metin, an unexpected ally against the Davukans' brutal assault on their lands. Having helped push back against them after years of war to benefit both species and kingdoms, they made their alliance more concrete, with the ambassadors discussing the finer details of a treaty. Are you reading anything of this, or did you just want me to do the whole thing?
I guess I can read the ladies, I guess.
You can play it by ear?
I guess we'll play. We usually do anyway.
Yeah. All right. The loss of labor and growing number of orphans became a problem for the Metin, who now looked to the king and queen of Stone Star and the program they had put into place to handle those issues in their own land. A single file line of giggling girls. There we go. All with braided hair and plain light gray ankle-length dresses with white aprons followed the woman who had been teaching, training, and raising them. An older teenager followed behind the line, helping with this particular group. 2 women to a group of 6 to 12 girls. Each an orphan, each received an education, valuable life skills, and a spouse handpicked by the king and queen who held high standards for their future husband, all under the protection of the castle. The boys received the same while receiving valuable job training to fill a void left in the kingdom.
Girls against the wall.
The woman in front whispered, seeing the servant ahead leading a newly arrived Metin family through the hall.
We are respectful of them like we are of anyone else, no matter if they look different than us.
With backs to the wall and heads bowed, they clasped their hands in front of their stomachs and with elbows tucked tightly to their sides. Pointy ears and fang-like teeth, so very different, must make a good impression with the girls. They work hard, and this is better than a filthy orphanage or the streets.
A Metin child.
Lady Alec, the Metin woman, stopped, surprised by the little girl who stood out amongst the others. It was rare to find one of their kind amongst humans. Her father and brother stopped to look as well, causing the frightened child to run behind the woman who had been leading the group.
I'm sorry, little one. I didn't mean to frighten you.
She knelt, looking to the golden eyes, peering around the gray dress.
Tildy.
There you go. Tildy. It's not Tiddly.
Tiddly.
We're not playing Tiddlywinks with manhole covers. The woman leading the line spoke softly, reaching behind to caress the back of the girl's head lovingly.
They are simply surprised to see you. You're safe.
Shaking her head, the little girl disappeared behind the woman.
Forgive her. She's afraid of her own kind. A soldier pulled her from the river in the mountain border. Her parents threw her in as they fled the Duvakans' assault on their village. Poor thing.
Lady Alec stood sighing, looking to her father and brother, who stood silently.
She's better off here, then. Hold on.
Bless you. Maybe? 3 hours later.
No, you killed it. Good. Okay. Teagan does an amazing job with the girls.
A voice entering the hall stated, the group swiftly turned, curtsying to Queen Alana.
That's why I enjoy walking the halls, listening to the giggles. It brings joy to these stone walls.
Teagan, will you please fetch the refreshments for our guests? King Reuben appeared from the room his wife had exited. Baron Hugh and his son should be here shortly. The girls erupted in giggles, quickly silenced by the two. Something funny?
Baron Hugh's son. Nothing, Your Majesty.
Teagan cut off the blonde teenage girl who went to answer, placing her hand over her mouth.
I will get refreshments right away.
The giggles reemerged, only to be silenced again. She kept a firm grip on the girl's mouth, curtsying and quickly moving to lead them away. Nothing at all, just gossipy, giggly little gremlins who should be focusing on their manners. Have a good day, ladies, Lord Nin, the younger male Metin, said.
You as well, sir.
Teagan turned to bow her head again as the girls thanked him. She froze, locking eyes with him, realizing he had been watching her, and only her, the entire time.
Oh, no.
Powdered blue eyes. How lovely. He watched her walk away, head tilted down with a tinge of red across her cheekbones, firmly gripping the mouth of the blonde girl who was still giggling. The little Metin girl glanced over her shoulder, holding tight Teagan's dress with a frown, glaring at him. She did not care for her own kind, especially the one who had been fondly watching Teagan. Apologies. I don't like that sound of that thud.
That's Jared.
Okay. We converted one of the side gardens, building bunkhouses for them. King Reuben explained to his guests. After their daily lessons, the boys go work with their mentor. When they come of age, they already have a job lined up. The girls work in the castle learning to run a home while also getting an education. When they come of age, we find them suitable husbands.
It has cut down on crime and keeps the children of our kingdom safe while filling the loss of labor from the war.
Queen Alana added, watching Teagan enter the room, pushing the silver cart covered by a white cloth. Her mahogany braid had been pulled up and pinned to keep it out of the way while she served the guests, which was rarely part of her duties. One of the older maids typically saw to it, but Teagan had become the face of the orphan plight and driving force behind the king and queen's desire to care for them. She set out hand-painted floral cups on saucers, pouring tea or coffee for whoever desired it, leaving the cream and sugar in the middle of the cherrywood coffee table. Once she had served the drinks, she set out matching porcelain plates with finger sandwiches and sweet treats, making sure to stay out of the way while the king and queen spoke with their guests. "You look lovely again today," Theo, the Baron's one-eyed son, whispered as she placed the final plate down.
Thank you, sir.
She whispered before moving away. "Hardly. This is the... Oh, that's her. I just realized that.
You have been reading a lot.
I'm sorry.
You,
I mean, I guess
are
it's
her internal monologue.
Her internal monologue is a middle-aged man.
Perfect.
"Hardly. This is the same dress I wear every day since I've seen you loitering about the castle halls." "How did this all come about?" Lord Radu, the father of Lord Nin and Lady Alec, asked. "It is quite creative and useful."
It all started with Teagan.
Queen Alana answered. "Did you know it was her? I had no idea."
I see it on mine. Mine's bigger.
Oh. Duly noted. It's not nice. I don't like that yours is bigger.
Well, they have...
Sure you want to continue that line of thought, dear?
No.
Queen Alana answered, motioning to Teagan standing off to the side behind her chair with the cart.
We found her abandoned in the woods, hiding in the thicket of living off of blackberries. As a small child, seeing the state she was in, I refused to send her to an orphanage and kept her here where she learned and worked, which then gave us the idea of how to deal with two of our kingdom's issues. It's a splendid idea.
Lady Alec beamed.
I have been trying to find help with the orphanages, but everything is disorganized. Things fall through cracks, and there never seems to be enough time to help each child, let alone dealing with food shortages that affect them as well.
It was quite an adorable sight to watch her followed by her little ducklings, Lord Nin commented before taking a sip from his cup. Teagan averted her eyes, seeing him look over the brim, embarrassed to have been caught gawking. That parade of giggling ducklings has been going up and down the halls of my castle for the past 10 years since she started teaching the children, King Reuben smiled. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Happy, productive, well taken care of people translates into a more productive community. Fresh trained workers have become valuable in every trade since so many perished, Baron Hugh finally spoke. I wish the children did not have to grow up so quickly to fill the void, Theo stated, stirring the cup of tea that he had not drank from. But it is better than them having to face the danger on their doorstep, and all the non-combatants for that matter. His gaze moved to Teagan with her eyes turned down and hands clasped in front of her. After weeks at the castle preparing for the arrival of the Metin, he had found himself infatuated with her. She was caring, intelligent, and a hard worker, on top of how lovely she was walking the halls. Her small brood of giggling ducklings had noticed his attempts to spark up a conversation with her, along with hearing him complimenting her when the opportunity arose. He had witnessed her stealing a glance of Lord Nin, and him doing the same to his dismay.
The bunkhouses should be clean if you're interested in seeing how we have them set up.
Queen Alana motioned to Lady Alec, who was leading the changes in their lands with the orphans.
The ladies' bunkhouse is clean. I can't speak for the men's bunkhouse, though,
Teagan said softly.
I rarely go in there. Then we should grab a sword and a shield before we enter,
Lady Alec teased.
But I would be honored to see them.
Probably a face mask as well, Baron Hugh snorted. I remember having a teenage boy in my home. Agreed, Lord Radu grinned, looking at his son.
I don't know.
Will you please show Lady Alec the women's bunkhouse?
course, Your Majesty.
Teagan curtsied before walking to the door to hold it open for Lady Alec, who excitedly followed. The Far West Garden, neglected for many years with the war being a more pressing matter, had been stripped of most of its greenery. Two large, identical houses with pointed sloped roofs stood facing the entrance. The path Teagan walked with Lady Alec forked part way into the garden at the red and white rose bushes. They walked the left path to the welcoming, closed-in front porch with tiny hand-imprinted craft projects and stones with children's handwritten names painted on them. Tall shade trees and velvet grass outlined the area and filled the backyards of each bunkhouse. The inside was just as impressive and beautiful as the outside. A large room to the left of the entrance was filled with school desks and shelves full of books of all sorts, with a large chalkboard at the front of the classroom. The dining hall sat to the left, filled with long tables and benches. The full kitchen was connected by an open doorway, making it easier to direct meals and traffic. Bunk beds for the girls and regular beds for the young women lined the center and back wall of the large back room. The assortment of blankets and pillows of all colors filled the beds, giving it a friendly and inviting atmosphere.
This...
Lady Alec looked over everything, tracing her fingers over the painted butterflies on the wall down to the shelf filled with small stuffed animals and dolls.
It's better than anything I came up with.
She turned around, holding a small black teddy bear in her hands, giving it a soft squeeze.
All the credit goes to Her Majesty. She designed it, checked on its progress, and made sure everything was safe and comfortable for us.
Teagan explained proudly, happy to see how impressed Lady Alec was.
She said you've been working with the girls for 10 years. When did you start?
At 15. Nope, that's her. Sorry. Go ahead. You're good.
At 15. And Theo hasn't run you off yet.
Lady Alec teased, watching Teagan blush, rolling her lips inward.
I was waiting for him to throw you over his shoulder and run off with you the way he was watching you instead of drinking his tea. He has seemed to join my line of ducklings lately, and they have noticed.
Teagan smiled.
But I'm too busy with my work and caring for my girls. That doesn't stump the incessant giggles when they pass him in the hall, though. Do you think Her Majesty would let me map this out to use? I already have a notebook drawn up for you per her request. That's wonderful.
Lady Alec squealed with excitement.
Is there anything you don't do around here? Mingle with the men.
Teagan quickly commented.
I'll play pirate or knight with the boys and girls, and that's about as far as my interaction with the opposite sex goes. Speaking of boys, when do they come back? Do they cook their own meals too? The houses are identical, and yes, they do cook for themselves, and basic life skills are a must here.
Teagan answered, smiling fondly to the gleeful sound of the little girls running their way.
The boys are normally back an hour after the storm hits.
The front door swung open, with the older teenagers and young women scolding the girls for letting it fly wildly open and running crazed into the bunkhouse. They swarmed the house, smiles covered their faces, save for Tildy, who stopped in her tracks, entering the back of the house, seeing Lady Alec. She took rapid little gasps of air and then fled back to the older ones in the front to hide behind. Lady Alec frowned, dropping her shoulders, sad to see a child so terrified of her.
I don't mean to scare her. As I said before, it's because of what her parents did.
Teagan sighed, leading her back towards the front of the house where Tildy hid behind Sherry, who usually helped with her group.
Try not to take it personally. I know.
Lady Alec sighed heavily, seeing the small golden eyes peeking around the gray dress.
Girls, be good while I'm gone this evening.
Teagan announced loudly to the bunkhouse of rowdy, giggling girls.
I'll be busy at dinner this evening. If there is an emergency, send for me. Everything will be just fine.
The blonde teen girl from earlier shouted.
Theo will keep an eye on you for us.
Lady Alec laughed with the girls, enjoying the sight of such happy children as Teagan rolled her eyes, sighing. Lilac-covered porcelain dinnerware and crystal goblets lined the long banquet table with stained glass, and crystal chandeliers hung overhead. King Reuben and Queen Alana sat at the head of the table, enjoying the pleasant and joyous conversation of their guests. Shane says Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Shane.
That was a text message. My brother.
Figured.
Anyway, sorry about that. Long banquet table with stained glass and crystal chandeliers hung overhead. King Reuben and Queen Alana sat at the head of the table, enjoying the pleasant and joyous conversation of their guests. Teagan stood behind and to the left of the queen, Again, she was on display, proof that caring for the orphans of the kingdom the way they had was a worthwhile investment. The talk of treaties and social status did not concern her, nor did she care for it. However, the smell of the roasted meats and potatoes called out to her as she watched the fussy nobles eat. She did, though, catch herself more than once examining Lord Nin, and the thin scar that ran the right side of his jawline cutting through his neatly trimmed black beard. His soft, powder blue eyes enchanted her especially, mixed with the small, mischievous grin that crossed his lips when he had noticed her stealing a glance.
You have a scar.
I do?
Mm-hmm. I can't see it. Right there. It goes through his beard.
That's why I talk with this side of my mouth.
It is, because he was, he was thrown into a fan?
Yes.
By his sister.
When I was 3.
Yeah.
Quickly looking away, having been caught again, she bowed her head slightly, clenching her jaw, forcing herself to look down at the edge of the table. You can read this. No. Now that we realize that it's her. Nope.
Middle-aged man, come on.
Okay, middle-aged man, we got it. He's a nobleman, not from here. I was taught better than to stare. Those eyes, though, I could stare into them for hours. Without blinking.
Yeah, don't do that.
Drown in them. Stop it. You're a servant, dedicated to those little girls and need to be a better example than some boy-crazed fiend. Clearing her throat, she looked back up, making sure there was not some duty of hers that she had ignored as she scolded herself while still desiring to gawk over his features like a schoolgirl with a crush. Then there was Theo. She looked to see him one chair from the end of the table, smiling at her when he knew he had garnered her attention. Aww. His face always seemed to light up when she was near. She had noticed the way his chest would rise and fall from longing deep breaths with a small sigh.
It's adorable.
You're the reason the girls giggle and pick on me. They're not blind or too young to notice you poking your head around corners to find me, waiting in the hall to try and make small talk. That soft brush of the back of your hand against mine. The way his dark green eye glimmers. Oh. His warm, inviting smile. What is wrong with me? There's work to do, and I must make my king and queen proud. I'm too old to be swooning over a man with an eye patch and the other dark, mysterious one. Still haven't blinked. I know it's creepy. She was elated once the dinner had ended, and she was no longer needed, excused to eat her meal, then off to bed in the bunkhouse. A private room and bathroom had been built for her in the bunkhouse. Since she had stopped using her room in the castle, she preferred being near the others. The kitchen staff had saved her a plate, which she happily ate while trying to help them clean stacks of dishes and cooking utensils. After 20 years of being in the castle, they knew her well, and she them. They no longer thought of her as that little girl that had been found in a thorn-filled thicket, but more as family as they had watched her grow. They looked after her, proud to see what she had grown into, watching her lead future generations of little girls to a far better future than what would have waited for them inside an orphanage or on the streets. After thanking the kitchen staff, hugging each tenderly as she always had, she wandered through the hall humming to herself, pulling out the pins that held her thick braid in place. She unwound the braid, scratching and rubbing her tender scalp. Long, thick locks of mahogany draped over her shoulder and down her back. At the end of the hall, Theo waited for her. Tired of small talk and watching her from afar, he froze, looking up, hearing footsteps coming his way. He had never seen her hair in its natural state.
Can I help you, sir?
Teagan asked, clasping her hands in front of her stomach, tucking her elbows to her sides. Yes. He took a deep breath, straightening up from leaning his back against the wall. I've meant to ask you, do you have a suitor?
A suitor?
She clarified, shifting her eyes away, watching his chest rise and fall behind the dark gold blazer with black buttons down the left side.
You don't have time for such things. I'm far too busy caring for and teaching the girls, making sure they can go into the world ready and educated.
I'll take that as a no. You don't have one. He smiled, feeling relieved. His service and his father's good name had earned him the favor of the royal family. That favor was what he would need to get close to the favorite of the queen. Her cheeks turned red with her heart speeding up, feeling him take her hand into his, letting his thumb gently glide, side to side over her silken skin. The redness grew brighter and hotter as she pulled her hand upward, softly pressing his lips to the back of her hand, holding them there long enough to enjoy the feel and sight of her blushing at his affection. I should let you go. Sleep well. He placed one more kiss before setting her hand down and walking back toward the stairs to the guest rooms.
You, too, sir.
She forced the words before escaping outside, letting the cool air soothe her burning face, feeling mildly embarrassed for blushing and happy the children had not witnessed what had transpired. What is wrong with me? His touch. I shouldn't feel like this. I shouldn't tingle and warm like this.
Aww.
I know I tell the young women this is normal, but it feels strange.
Oh, God. From a distance.
Chapter 2.
World looks blue.
The end.
And
Chapter
green.
2 from a distance.
Sorry, that song pops into my head every time.
What song is that? I don't know that
You
song.
don't know From a Distance?
I don't know songs.
Oh, no. Hold on.
I don't do music.
Yes, you
And I think
do.
that's illegal. I don't know. Isn't it like a...
Mm.
I don't know. It's probably a copyright thing. Whoop.
Download the
Ad.
Download
Dominoes.
Dominoes. Knocking fishes over like dominoes.
Yeah, hold on. Yes.
I don't know this song,
Skip
though.
that. You don't know From a Distance.
No. Bette Midler? Remember, we can only do 15 seconds of this. I think it's illegal after that.
Hold on. Okay, hold on.
Jeez. No, we can listen to this later. I don't know this song.
It's From a Distance.
No, I have no idea. I'm lame. I'm lame.
Green, and that's all I remember.
For you, my lady.
Oh, thank you. It is an adorable book. I would like to read more of it.
It is very cute. I like it. It's different. It's definitely different.
Yes.
Interesting. Check it out. Wait a minute. I got to point the correct direction.
There you
this
go.
way.
It's over there.
Yeah, it's over there.
Even
Check
though-
it out. Our current read, A Trashy Medieval Romance, on Amazon. I can drop the link. I may have to copy it from my Twitter page, which is... I hope this is the right link. I apologize if it's not, but link is down in the chat. You can check it out there on Amazon. I think it's Kindle Vella for this one.
no, it's on Kindle Vella, and it's also available on the Kindle, like regular, because that's how I bought it. Because that's not Vella.
Like
and
she
it's
said.
on my Kindle.
Oh well, I don't know book things. I just read the things that she tells me to. So this is how we work.
I make you read.
Here's the book. Read it. You know, generally, it kind of sucks. Generally, she only lets me read things out loud and at
not
night.
true. I will
So,
let him read other things, like that book that you're reading that you read to me on occasion when you read snippets.
but only out loud and only at night. So
No, you've been reading that one in the
I don't know what you're talking about.
Your Mary project.
Thanks
right?
for watching. Thanks for showing up. Short stream today. Again, half hour and nice round number. Makes it pretty easy. I will definitely add it to my reel for the first chapter reading. Check out the other first chapter readings if you haven't yet. We did Love of Different Shades. We did Fear and Fury. Sorry, Jamie. Fear of Furries. Fear and Fury. And of
He
course,
calls it that no matter what we talk about it. That's just the name of it now. I am so sorry.
that's just its name. That's how this works.
I mean,
And the 13th Zodiac by this one over here. So you can check out some of the other first chapter readings. And we
could give a tiny sneak peek of Dream Taker, but I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Unlimited power. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic night, guys. We will be ending soon. Thank you again for swinging by. And there's the book. Check out Cinnamon Carnelian, Cinnamon Carn 1 on Twitter. And, of course, you can find the book on Amazon, and the link is in the chat. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.